Live.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to PDQ Live. Today, we're going to talk about one of my least favorite topics, but I'm passionate about it still, is documentation, specifically IT documentation and why it's a problem. Help you out with that, especially when it's a new year. Everybody's got a new resolution of I want to do X, Y, Z. We're going to try and help you out.
Mm-hmm. It's good. Lucky for you, though, it's my favorite topic. So I prepared some stuff for you.
You prepared a lot.
You're going to hate it.
It's so unlike Tara.
I know. It is. It's weird.
It's fantastic, though. We're going to show off a couple tools, both of which I really, really like. The first one I just learned about yesterday when you showed it to me.
Which one?
Scribe.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love Scribe.
Scribe is really, really cool.
But let's set it up just a little bit, because so we have a couple ways we're going to talk about documentation. So one is everyone's favorite documentation for end users, right? To send to end users so they don't talk to you, obviously, right? So compiling some kind of library of end user documentation, just easy stuff that you just, you see issues that come up over and over again. So what do you normally do? You take screenshots and you build it yourself, and it's kind of laborious, right?
Yeah. Maybe you build a macro in your ticketing system or something like that.
Yeah. And that's usually your repository. That's what I've done in the past, or I've made sites and then you send them out. Okay, so that's the one thing we're going to talk about. And then the second thing is going to be your infrastructure. How do you document that? Where do you put it? What do you document? And what are the use cases that you would document that for? Yeah. So...
And you and I have very differing opinions.
It's weird, right?
On how to document back-end infrastructure.
Well, I can believe it 100%.
You're going to vote with me. You're going to vote with me.
I probably will.
So let's start with making both of those things easier, because we want to be more efficient. So let's start with Scribe.
Yeah, because Scribe we can use for either one of these tasks, right? So Scribe's basic premise, I'll kind of set it up what I think it is, and then you tell me when I'm wrong.
Do it.
Is you want to, traditionally, you go take screenshots, you highlight it, you send it off. Scribe is like a steps recorder where it automatically does the highlighting and shows in order, go click all these buttons.
Yep. It records every step that you do. You did it perfectly, yeah. And it comes in a free version as a browser extension, but the catch is it can only record what you're doing in the browser. So as far as I know, it's available in all browsers. Okay. I prefer it in Edge. I know. Stay with me, though. The Chrome version's a little wonky, but I didn't spend a whole lot of time figuring it out. I just like the Edge one better.
Fair.
But I'm sure if you spend a little time, you could do it. So you go find the extension. That's step one. And then I pinned it right here. So this is what it looks like. So we're just going to do something easy. So you click right here, and then you start capture. So in our little use case, I'm going to pretend like a user's calling me and saying, hey, I'm going to be out of town next week, and I can't remember how to set out of town replies. So let's pretend this is really off. I'm going to go, okay, you come in here, you go to settings, and then you turn on add amount of replies, and we're going to turn it on for this period, and we want to start this at 6 p.m., and then we're going to have it turned on until Monday the 8th. At 8 a.m., decline my meetings, yes, use my automatic one, and then I'm going to save it.
Okay.
And then I'm going to come back up here, and I'm going to say stop my capture.
That's it?
Yeah. So now this is what it does, is it creates this pretty solution. And
they're just like GIFs.
Yeah. It essentially did everything I just did, and it made its own little solution. And the cool part about this is if I'm not happy with how it looks, I can edit it right here. So I can add little funny GIFs if I want, like, oops, ooh, like, oh, you're going out of town and you forgot this. Go back and do it. So you can make it fun if you want. I can add an extra step, say I forgot a step and I want to edit it, I can do that. I can add another header if I want. So there's lots of room to change it to make it what you want. You can pretty it up. You can make it as nice as you want. It can be as simple or as advanced as you like it. So once I get it set, now over in the sidebar, I can do a bunch of different things. This is a new function, the add to page, but what we're going to do, and this is all the free version.
This is free?
Absolutely free.
Okay.
I'm going to move it to a team. So I made a little team called Tara's team. I know it's totally original, right? And this is my team. So we're going to think of this as my home base and see how to set up automatic out-of-office replies. But I went ahead, because I'm me, and I made little folders. So see, this is 365. So I put it in here. So in theory, I would have this for, say, my help desk team.
Okay.
And if I was like a senior help desk person or an IT manager, I'd make a bunch of these and then I'd share them out. So if I click on here, it'll open up and I can share it out and do whatever I want with it.
Okay. So from here, it's only on the website. Can I export this? Because I see this question in chat a bunch of times right now.
Yeah.
Can I export it to PDF or whatever?
You can do all that stuff.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. So this is one way to store it. And you can do whatever you want with it. Like I said, you can edit it. You can do a bunch of stuff. It's kind of neat to store it in here.
Yeah.
But I have other options. So do we want to take questions about Scribe or want to move on?
I think if
There is one question about Scribe that we could take one quick second.
And we're going to pretend like I'm an expert on Scribe. I'm not, but let's pretend.
Okay. Can you download what this produces as a PDF or something you can embed elsewhere?
Yes. And just quickly before I answer that, here's the pricing. So I'm not going to go too much into it, but I was just showing you the basic and the free one. Like I said, it only works in the web app, and you can do the quick customization, shareable with link, and you can embed it in different websites. So yes and yes. And then that's the pricing for the pro, and for a team, that's how much it costs, $12 a month. But yes, you can embed it, and I'm going to show you how in a minute. So we're not going to go over that because I'll show you how to embed it because we did it elsewhere.
Okay. So that's the first tool.
That's the
and
first
I think
tool.
it's great. So its use cases are help desk and ticket macros and onboarding a new person. Like, and just stuff you get all the time.
I mean, you could really use it for really anything. I wish this was around 10 years ago. I freaking love this tool. Love it.
It's really cool. I spent so much time taking screenshots in Snagit or screenshot or whatever you want and with arrows.
And then formatting and I could see this being very, very useful, especially for our team.
Something more advanced. Say it's something more advanced and it's really detail oriented. This would be great.
Yeah. I think internally we're using it with a bunch of different teams for like internal processes, and it's helped onboarding time for those teams. Just
for a financial system.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely true. Okay, so now we've made all our solutions. Now, where do we want to put them if we're not going to go with the team that I just showed you?
Yeah, because I think you can export it to like PDF, Word doc, but then you have another problem.
Yep.
Right? So now I have these solutions that I made at a point in time.
Correct.
But then I have to keep them in sync and up to date, and that's problem 2.
Yeah, and like we said, if you're not someone like me who loves to do documentation, you probably want to assign someone to keep those up to date and managing them and making sure they're right. That's something.
Maybe this is a point to talk about our differing views on documentation.
Yeah.
Okay, so here are my thoughts, and I guess we can put maybe the form up, and we can see what everyone else thinks too.
Well let's have you explain it. Okay. Then we'll put the form up and vote if you're on Team Josh or Team Tara.
Okay, here are my thoughts on documentation. Less documentation that is updated frequently and is more about the services that are offered is better than complex documentation that's like super detailed. So, for example, documentation that says, hey, this is like the domain, these are the services that are offered, these are like the relationships and business relationships between things, is sufficient versus I'm going to document every server, its IP address, its host name, all of that stuff. Because that's really hard to keep up to date, in my opinion, because I hate documentation. So I'd rather document like the business impact and what services need to be offered versus the very nitty-gritty details.
So mine would be the opposite of yours, but let's say this. We come from very different backgrounds. You work for a tech company with very advanced end users. Their skill set's pretty advanced. I mean, you have a couple departments who maybe aren't quite as advanced. I come from not that at all.
Okay, we're going to put the form up on put that up on as the main screen because there's a link in the chat that you can use to vote. And then let's see if we can put it up on the TV as well so we can watch the results. So there you go. There's a QR code. There's Team Tara, Team Josh.
Wait, they can't vote yet. We haven't even showed the thing yet.
Well, we're voting. I thought you guys told me to put this up.
Oh, okay. But anyway, let me show you what we're doing first, and then you vote.
And then you can continue to vote.
Yeah, but my take on it is if you're continually training help desk technicians, maybe you have a lot of turnover, documentation is your friend because you're not having to redo things over and over again or go meet them at a user's desk and say, okay, here's how you add this, here's how you do this. You're going to save yourself some time. You make a few scribes, you build up a documentation, you're good to go. It just helps you. Or you make these posts available in a self-service user end portal on your help desk. It just makes a lot of sense to me.
Sure.
Or the other thing is a disaster recovery scenario. To have your infrastructure documented saves your life.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm a big proponent on that.
Absolutely. I think in a disaster recovery scenario, like putting everything back exactly the way it was very rarely needs to happen. Yeah. Where you're more worried about restoring services and like consuming IT to end users rather than making sure that file server B is back on IP address ending in .3. Like, so, wait, who cares?
Kelly's here now. Okay, Kelly, so we had this argument yesterday, and Josh was like, why do you care? I'm like, because I don't want to get my face ripped off, because my company's going to lose $10,000 every 30 minutes that it's down in broadcasting world, and he didn't believe me that happens. Kelly, could you please expand on that?
Oh, yeah. No. I believed you that it happens. I believed you that it happens. It was just the more like, yeah, but is it going to end your day?
Oh, yeah.
Like it can.
Like it's going to end my week.
I'll tell you, one of the worst experiences I had is the station went off the air. I went running down to the engineering area, and I looked at our engineer. I said, dude, we're off the air. And he was like, yeah, I know. Yeah. And he didn't move. And I'm like, hey, I said we're off the air. Let's go.
Oh, yeah, it's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
Okay, I love this. So in this situation, which documentation do you think you would rather have? The encyclopedia of documentation that lists everything, every IP address and everything about it? Or do you want the condensed version that's up to date that just has all the relationships so you can get back on air quickly?
You're just trying to win. Okay, anyway, let's go on now.
I think we're talking about different scenarios here. Are we just talking about every day? Are we talking about disaster? I think there's probably a good balance between the two.
Here's what I'm saying. My kind of documentation saved me in an earthquake, in a major power outage, and in crypto locker. Yeah. So you can see why I'm tied to it.
I get it. And I think like everybody in chat saying the same thing. It's both. It depends. Situation dictates. Like there are some things that you can rebuild and it doesn't really matter if it's the same. Mm-hmm. Other things like maybe broadcast, things need to be very precisely put back exactly the way they were. Yeah. And you should probably have very clear documentation there.
Yeah. Well, also, you're a robot. That's not fair.
I'm not a robot.
You are. You remember everything. He does.
He does.
I'm not a robot.
He has a lot of institutional knowledge, so he doesn't think that we need documentation.
Oh, wow.
Okay, anyway.
Even though he's been pushing for it in our department.
I have been. So, again, I'll go back to the very first thing I said. Frequently updated documentation that's useful is the most important thing.
I told him I would do your documentation.
Wow. I said, will you do mine?
Yeah, I'll do everyone's. Okay, ready? You ready for the tool, though?
Now so let's show the tool. We use this tool internally. Yeah. I love this tool.
Okay, so this is Notion, and I described it, and actually someone in chat said the exact same thing that I think is perfect. It's like, 7-8 years ago, it's what OneNote wanted to be when it grew up. That's what I really think it is.
This is what the product engineers, when they were thinking of OneNote, this is what they wanted to build.
I think so.
And then OneNote happened.
They have a good idea, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, so we're going to start here with just a webcast page, and I just prettied it all up because I'm me, but it links to our YouTube channel, of course. So there's a little catchphrase. There's Brock. Look at cute Brock and Jake. Just a little video.
And this is all really easy to add. You're just dragging things in here, right?
Yeah, it wasn't hard. Yeah. I think I spent a day or two. Well, that's not true, but I'm compulsive, so just pretend like you're normal. Okay, and then how to do everything. So remember how you said, how can I embed stuff? Well, here it is.
Oh, so this is where you might put like your list of scribes, like your how-tos.
Yeah.
So I see this being super helpful, not only for documenting infrastructure, but onboarding for new IT people as well.
Yeah, I would actually make a page. I would say onboarding. Here's everything you know in the first 30 days. And I would include a scribe how to get to payroll and then do the steps. If it were me and I was really spending time, that's what I would do. So I did embed the scribes. And actually I did how do we create a scribe? Just to show you, yes, you can do everything you just asked. And here's how you do it. And then I came down to, which one am I on? How to do everything. Then I did a help desk wiki. So in theory, you could build this one out a little bit bigger. This has a little more functionality. So if this was just for your help desk team, you'd probably spend a little bit more time on this one. And this is a template. Yep. There's tons of templates in here, a lot more functionality. So this one would be bigger.
So this would be like you have that one printer that does scan to application that is archaic, and you have to document every very specific step.
And you do it once every 6 months, and you're like, what did I do? And I can't remember. Okay, I'm going to write it down and put it in here. So then this one I love. This is, again, another template. And so it's a project management tool. So look, I gave you a task. Josh, do you see it? I assigned you a task.
What is it? I did see that, but I'm not bringing you fries.
What is it?
Or puppies. We will become best friends.
Become best friends, and he has to bring me puppies and French fries. Oh, yay.
So this is built into Notion, though, right?
Yeah, it's a template.
Okay. But it also will tie into your current ticketing system.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So I'll show you that.
So you don't
in just
have to use Notion for like project management.
You don't. You could. So they're connectors. You could do it in Asana if you wanted, but it's one-stop shopping, really. You could incorporate all your internal systems.
So going back to like functioning, up-to-date documentation, this will help you do it automated.
Oh yeah. You got to. Yeah, I'll show you how to do that in just 1 second. Let's just work down so I don't forget. But you can, change the view up here, of course, if you want to. Okay, where are we? We're on help desk. Okay, let's do network extravaganza because no one understands networking except for you and Austin. So I just did a schematic. So say you really wanted a schematic of your organization, and then if you use NetBox, I embedded a link so you could have one-stop shopping. So I love that about this. You could just say, nope, here's where we go. You need community help. Here's community help. Here's the equipment that you use. So if you had Cisco stuff and you had a question, say, he's off. Austin's off. You're out. Rachel's like, oh my crap, what do I do? How do I fix this? Here's where you go ask questions.
Oh, no, things just go down if that's the scenario.
Of all things that are most documented internally for us in IT, you want to know what it is?
It's awesome because you showed me and I was stunned.
It's networking and it's beautiful.
I was stunned,
he's really
actually.
Really good at it.
Yeah. Okay. So, that's just a subpage. So this is another wiki. So again, I would probably do every department and have a wiki for my bigger departments, but I'm crazy like that. So it depends on your environment is what I'm going to say.
So I think this is great. And I think it's good that we're talking about it this time of year, but we don't want to be like the person on January 21st that said, I'm going to go to the gym with documentation. So I think there's a couple ways that you showed me in here yesterday that you can incorporate this documentation into normal processes for like security, compliance, that keep people in the tool to keep documentation up to date. So you don't say at the beginning, this week, I'm going to go do documentation. And then come March, you're like, I haven't touched this in 6 months.
Yeah.
So you showed me a couple things that I think are fantastic in here.
Just a second. They're calling me the Karen of documentation. So can we just take a moment?
Wear that as a badge of honor. Okay? Really.
No. You know what? I think what Josh has said is actually true. You've got to find your own little Karen in your department and find out someone who actually enjoys it and will do it for you. That's important.
It is. It is important. There are people that really like documentation.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah.
But if you force me to do other processes that keep me in here, then I'm going to do it. But if I have to consciously go out of my way to go update docs, it's probably only going to happen when something's broken.
Well,
and
let
then
me
it's
show
going
you.
to be stale.
Where did I put that one that I automated it? That was one you were looking for, and I can't remember.
It was that one, and it was also the responsibilities matrix.
Oh yeah. Okay, sorry. I did too many. Get a grip, Tara.
Yeah. So
I got to find out where I put it. Keep talking for a second.
I think it was in the on and off boarding, but it was the for compliance purposes, right? Like you get this help desk ticket in.
Oh yeah, I was down here. Okay, it was right here. So I did a security one. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. So like the security one, right? This one I think is in here. You have it tied to Zendesk to create a ticket.
So I made a calendar. So this is Patch Tuesday. So this is my use case. And by the way, before everyone goes crazy, I just tried to show you all the functionality. I'm not expecting that everyone goes to this degree, but I wanted to give you just an idea of the things you could do.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is overkill.
Linking other tools so you don't you're not faced with like new doc.docx and say do documentation.
I really don't think it's overkill. I would totally do all of this.
You would.
So I made a calendar to remind me when Patch Tuesday is. Okay, so it's here. And then what I did is I linked this to Zendesk, which is one of our internal ticket system so that every Patch Tuesday, it would create a ticket for me. And when you open the ticket, it says, go update your stuff.
Cool.
So I love that.
And then then
it's automated.
you've linked it here, right?
Yeah,
And
I
it says
did.
go update the stuff. So then you follow this normal, very IT process of updating the stuff, and you close the ticket, say, I updated all the stuff.
Yeah.
So then when the auditors come knocking,
I can
because they're
show 'em.
going to come knocking,
Yep.
you have this documentation platform that shows the ticket was created, the work done, and you just go, here you go.
Yeah. I mean, so I know everyone's just like, okay, what's wrong with her? Get her on some medication. I get it. But let me just say, so how long did I work in this? Maybe 2 weeks, not full time. So yeah, it took a little bit of time.
Yeah.
But you have one person who likes this kind of stuff, and you're kind of set. You get it done, right? Then, so I didn't get time to do all these, but you can do them for disaster recovery, just in case. Where's all my stuff located? Where's my off-premise backup? And then, of course, I do one for backups. Then, just to make your auditors extra happy, you would do an incident report. You can do, what I like about this too, is you can create a database in here, or you can tie it to another database.
So you have some other incident management platform.
Yes, if you do, you can tie it in.
And so when you create an incident in that platform, because you're putting out the fire instantly, but you need to show that you had a fire,
Yes.
and that you put it out, and if it's automatically going to build into this remediation table.
Yes, exactly.
I think one of the best things you can do in situations, especially in compliance and disaster recovery and backups and all of that, is to have it documented and to have it easy, right? You want it to be easy for your team to be able to, when an incident happens, do everything in one place or something so that it shows up. It's not this big process that's like, okay, you've put out this fire, you've spent 20 hours doing it. Now you have to document all of it and do all that.
Yeah.
So if it's automated, that makes it so much easier.
I would set up some automations between my systems so that it wasn't so manual. But remember, this is just the bare bones. But so this auditing, I set up an onboarding, offboarding one with Phoebe telling us we're all fired. But this is just a spreadsheet that I've used in the past for people who've been onboarded and then fired. And it's just me tracking.
I think it's dehired.
I mean, dehired.
Dehired, yeah.
It's just me tracking. Did I make their AD account? Do they have a presence in 365, groups, computer? Just everything I would do as I onboarded them, and then the date that I deleted that account. So it's just stuff you normally would do. Well, I'm going to embed it here. So as the auditors come in or HR comes in, I can go, here's when I did it.
Yeah.
So it's stuff I'm normally doing.
And
I'm
it's
just
keeping you
putting
in the
it here.
documentation platform.
It is.
It's making documentation just part of a normal workflow
Yeah.
instead of this painful task that you have to do on the back end at some point.
And then this would just be my SOC 2 cert, should I want to show it to anybody. I've got to find my areas of responsibility, Josh. I can't remember where I put it now. So
I don't remember
chat
either.
for a second while I
but
find
I
that.
loved it.
Yeah. I got to find it.
Yeah. Other things about documentation that I don't know that I think are really helpful are for onboarding a new help desk person,
Yes.
right? Like I've been at PDQ now for 7 years, been doing internal IT for a good chunk of that. There are just some things that I just know, and I forget that people don't know.
Like everything?
Yes.
Because you're a robot?
Well, it's stuff like the stuff here in the studio is like a prime example. There are just some weird things in here that are hard to figure out. But
Oh no, you just got her excited.
I did, because Tara went back and she's documented this entire studio.
I'll show you.
I didn't have an ounce of documentation.
I'll show
it was
you in a
all just up
second.
here, which is horrible. Don't be like me.
yeah,
I'll show you in a
because what if you
second.
get hit by a car?
Exactly. So
Yeah.
that speaks to this. So this is something I've used in the past, thus the date. And I want you guys to appreciate the naming scheme because I don't know any shows that you guys like, but I thought you might enjoy this. So I really, as an IT manager, I really dislike the single point of failure. So I like to write out my areas of responsibility for my teams and then go 3 deep. So you're always going to have someone who's an expert in something. So you have your expert, then your medium person, and then your newbie. So the person who's the expert in it would be responsible for training number 2 and number 3. And then what I do is I take those areas of responsibility and I tie them to their annual reviews. And then we discuss it and say, Josh, how are you doing with 365? And then they know these are the goals they're working on.
Yeah, and I think the added thing here is like documentation is part of that area of responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
If you're responsible for Office 365 apps, there should be a section in here that's documented how like all of the SSL configurations are set up. when certs expire, all of those sorts of things.
Yeah, I expect to see some scribes in here from 365 that you have made, and I would put that in the review. I need 3 scribes in our documentation. It's just an easy way to tie it all in together.
Yep.
But let's see if I can find my over-the-top documentation that you're going to laugh at while you're chatting.
Ooh, I love this question that come in from Rob.
Yeah, let's grab a question.
Okay.
And this is from Just Rob. How best to deal with people who hoard knowledge and refuse to document in order to be necessary or needed by the company?
I tie it to their reviews. That would not work out for me at all. But that person is just holding on to job security, and that I don't think is beneficial to the team at all. So I think leading by example is a good way to do that, and making those requests or those team goals known in a public forum and saying, we're all going to do this. These are my expectations. And then everybody following through. If that person doesn't follow through, in my opinion, that's a manager one-on-one conversation and say, we discussed that, Josh. This is the data expected. And then if you need to have further conversations, that's a conversation to have.
Yeah, I like that. The other thing that I've seen work in this situation and I've used before is you kind of play to people's ego just a little bit. Hey, this is awesome. I don't know how this is working. Can you explain it to me? And so, yeah, you're not going to get this beautiful documentation, like how everything works, but you're understanding the relationships behind things so that you at least have something. So, yeah, you might not know exactly how everything, like the way it's specifically configured, but what you have is the ideal state, what you're trying to produce and how they got from A to B. Mm-hmm. You can at least get people to talk about it like that most of the time.
You're so nice. You're so sweet. I'm like so mean.
Well, no. You tried that first, right? Like you catch way more flies with honey than you do with vinegar. Mm-hmm. And so like you can get out the stick later. But I don't know. Use both.
You're so nice.
Josh is good at the politics of being a boss, I've noticed.
Well, thanks.
Unless it comes to protecting me from my other coworkers.
You bring it on yourself.
That's called self-preservation. You got to do that yourself.
I don't have to outrun everybody. I just have to outrun the slowest person.
Oh, no. I hope I'm not the slowest.
It's usually Jake.
We do have some additional questions if you're ready for those.
Sure.
You guys ready?
Yeah, let's
okay.
get some questions.
One from Marcel says, now imagine you are a replacement admin. Would you get all the necessary info from your type of documentation to restore a failed network?
I think that question's for me.
I'm pretty sure it is.
That question's for me. Now, depending on what type of restore, and it depends on the company, right? It's a maybe, right? If I had the documentation that I knew what they needed access to, and how they did business, if I had that type of institutional knowledge, could probably get them back online. If it wasn't some maybe like a SCADA network that does manufacturing, my type of network documentation, not going to work. Like you're not going to get there. Mm-hmm. If it's a regular, like maybe a retail shop that needs access to Wi-Fi and Pandora, so they can play music and their POS system, yeah, I think my documentation style works.
Yeah. It really depends on the complexity of what you're dealing with and the culture of the place, right? How many people have that knowledge that were left behind? How many questions can you ask? If the documentation, because that's my anxiety, is either entering a job where there's no training, and I mean, much like this job, it was kind of, I had to make it up as I go. Mm-hmm. And that's one of those situations where documenting what was going on in security wouldn't have been super helpful because we were doing an overhaul anyways. But leaving a job, I want to be able to leave it behind so that they can keep doing what I was already doing. That's my biggest fear and anxiety. And the way that I kind of lead my documentation is I'm doing something and I'm thinking, well, there's no online like Microsoft guide on how to do this. This is something very specific that I've set up. I should probably record it as I do it.
Yeah.
Perfect. Hey, I forgot. How many people have their network infrastructure documented? Third person to comment gets a prize.
Oh, there you go.
Ooh, I like it. I like it.
Well, there's a me. There's
Me?
we do.
Oh, there
and
it is.
looks like Dan Grace.
Yeah.
Well done,
Some things,
Dan.
and that's the accurate answer because everyone has stuff that isn't documented.
That's true.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
true.
We do have a couple more questions. Hold on one sec.
So there's one gone. Josh, you have.
There's one. All right, next question. What is the best way to document your IT infrastructure in a visual way? We may already have touched on that. But.
Well, so we didn't touch much on, a lot of people really love Netbox. Netbox is a teensy bit hard, I'd say, but I think it's good for networking stuff. It is. If some people love it.
I don't think Josh has any right to answer this question.
If Austin's on, he should answer. And I'll tell you what he did because I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's a multi-layer lucid chart.
That's I found when I started this job, when I was asking for help, Austin would send me links to documentation and Josh would just start talking and I'm like, I don't understand anything that you just said.
Yeah.
So
Okay, let's do fifth answer, network documentation. What's the best?
Yeah.
like tool for network documentation.
Yeah.
So I do like Netbox though, for the nitty gritty kind of documentation.
2,
It's not very visual,
3,
but it's pretty good.
4.
Mike.
Oh yeah, there's Mike. Mike Scott there for Netbox.
Mike, boom. Okay, so mine are gone, Josh.
All right, let's do another question.
Yeah, we
got 'em.
have a few more. We got like 3 more questions.
Okay.
How do you keep your Notion documentation / processes up to date? Can you automate scheduled review and expiration of docs? Andy B.
I did not dig enough into it to see if you can automate the updating. I don't know the answer.
Here's
to
the
that.
idea that came to mind, and something that you actually did show was your calendar that set up automatic
Oh
tickets.
yeah, that's automated. Yeah,
That's
that
what
part
you
is.
should be doing is you
Yeah.
should have an automated ticket maybe every quarter. And just like, our audit reviews that we do, we have to do for compliance quarterly, you should have an automated ticket to make it easier.
Yeah,
Because then
pull
it
from it.
shows up and now
Yeah.
you know where it is and you know all the information that you need to fill out.
Yeah, if you pull from another source as automated, it would work. But the scribes, they don't automate. You would
They
have
don't
to
automate.
automate those.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure you could figure it out. I didn't spend enough time to do that.
I guess it
But
depends on how motivated you are to really automate
I
it.
will come to your work and do it for you. I'm super cheap.
She will. 2 more questions. Are we ready? When is PDQ going to come out with a help desk system with KB that ties into other PDQ software to include package deployment, device imaging, etc.? Just Rob. I tell you what, if you've got a crystal ball, share that with us.
Please.
Where's Matt? Matt, answer.
Or Owen. Yeah.
And we have one more final question. What's the monthly whiskey budget at PDQ? Some nice bottles on the shelf there.
Josh, what is that?
So we have the bar upstairs, and it kind of gets lumped into down here. But I think we spend around $1,500 a quarter, so $500 a
I've
month.
been shopping with him, and it's scary.
It's fun.
It's scary.
It makes me feel very poor.
Well, yeah, it's easy to spend the company money. And
I
not your
know,
money.
yeah.
But really, so it's a lot of people, and you look kind of weird when you go to the liquor store and you have like a cart and it is
Full of whiskey.
Full. People give you a weird look,
You think you're an alcoholic?
and then you tell them, "Oh, it's for my work," and then the look gets even stranger.
When you
Like,
say it's a tech company, not a bar.
Well, we can blame Shane. Shane started this because Shane he likes the good stuff. We'll say that.
Yes.
So well done.
yes, he does.
Bill, is Fresh Service Fresh Desk? Did they rename it to Fresh Service? I love Fresh Desk.
Ooh, I don't remember.
I love Fresh. It's my favorite.
I've
help
never used
desk.
it.
Oh, it's so good. I love it. You have 2 more things to give away, dude.
I do have 2 more things to give away. So how about this for respondents number 3 and 5? List your cadence for updating documentation and why you think it's the best.
I mean, like weekly, monthly, quarterly.
How often you do it?
I forgot who won. Who won the poll?
Hold up, and I'll tell you.
Update as I go.
They don't want to answer because they want to be the 3rd and the 5th. So it takes them a while to get going.
I wasn't paying attention. Who won?
Oh, I didn't look either. We're gonna have to go back and look at the chat. I missed it now.
So 3rd, we have updated at 1, 2, 3. The 3rd is the Crazy Mouse.
Okay.
All right, and you said the 5th.
Yeah.
4, 5. Kirk Yamamoto.
All right. There we go.
I think what's funny when you say when required, that means to me when security tells you to, when
Yeah.
compliance
Yeah.
is that, because that's what I get when I ask about processes. Oh, like, how's our inventory? Where is it? What, that kind of stuff, and I get blank stares. That's when I
like that.
know we've got some work.
When hating myself.
That's when I do documentation.
Yes.
Need some like self-punishment.
Okay,
All
so I'm an anomaly. I get it.
Let's put the poll back up on the TV so we can
Okay.
reveal the winner.
I'm gonna win. I totally am gonna win. I don't think I'm gonna win.
Just barely.
Hey, hang on. There is some Microsoft math going on
Yeah,
here.
there is. The 1% is like the peacemaker, which is me, like the in between.
Shh! I'm winning. Be quiet.
Whatever. All right.
There you go.
Thanks,
So
Bill Gates.
excited.
It was like a U.S. election that.
Recounts.
That's what I
I
thought.
demand it. Well, thanks for joining us today, everyone. I hope you picked up some things on documentation, make it a little bit easier so you don't end up like the majority of us on the 21st of January. For PDQ, I'm Josh.
I'm Tara.
And I'm Rachel.
Thanks for joining our webcast today. Congratulations to Dan Grace, Mike B, The Crazy Mouse, and Kirk Yamamoto, winners of PDQ swag. Do us a favor, send us your mailing address to webcast@pdq.com. Thanks again for joining us, and we will see you back here next week.